everybody, and welcome back to Lindsey's Little Library. So today we are at our final, episode, final edition, whatever we want to call it, of what's on my Kindle. So I've been doing this for months now and just really going through the books that I have, all of the ebooks that I have, the ones on my Kindle that I don't always get to talk about. I definitely bring them up in videos, like if I've read them or if I recommend them, but I don't necessarily have them sitting on my shelves and kind of forget they're there sometimes. So this has been a really good little project for myself to remind myself the really great library I have sitting on my phone and on my tablet. So here's your last 10 books that I want to talk about. And there's some good ones. So yeah, let's just get started. Again, I'm consulting my notes. So if I'm looking down, that's what I'm looking at. So the first one I want to talk about is and of these books, I think I've only read one of them. That's okay. First one I want to talk about is Across the Winding River by Aimie Runyan. I believe that's how you pronounce it. So we have our main character. Her name is Beth, and she's making the most of life. She is helping her father, who has a terminal illness and is dying. So she's kind of helping. She knows there's not a lot of time left, helping her go through things, and he's having her going through some memorabilia and some, keepsakes. She comes across a picture of her father, Max, with a woman, I believe, and it's really starting to raise a lot of questions. And so she's kind of confronting her dad, like, what? Tell me the story. So he lets it be known to her that during World War II, he joined in with the resistance and teamed up with a German woman who happened to be married to a Nazi officer. So it sounds like it's a story of escape, of love, and of destiny, and where it goes from there. I'm assuming this woman is not Beth's mom. So just curious. The way it didn't really come out and say that, but the way the synopsis made you feel is that it's not somebody she knew. So sounds interesting. Very excited about that. Second one I want to talk about is Getaway Girls by Joan Rylen. This is number 1 in a series because I'm so good at downloading the number ones in series. But whatevs. So we have Vivian and her 3 friends. And her 3 friends have basically taken her and they're getting out of here. They're going to Mexico. They're going to just get away because Vivian has just gone through a divorce. It sounds like it wasn't fantastic. She just needs some time away. So they get her out, they go down, I want to say it's like Playa del Carmen or someplace in Mexico, and they have a good time. And she is out dancing the night away. She's enjoying herself. She's forgetting her troubles, and she meets this man, John, who is a soap opera star in Canada. And they kind of hit it off, and they have a great night, and things are fantastic, and she just lets her hair down. Well, the next morning, the 4 of them are woken up by a knock at the door, and it's the police, and they're looking for Vivian because John is dead. Of course he is. So these friends have to now come together to figure out what happened to John, how to help the friend Vivian so she doesn't get locked away at some prison in Mexico. It sounds interesting. It sounds a little, yes, it's a serious subject, but could be a little fun. The next one I have is The Rule of One by Ashley Saunders and Leslie Saunders. It looks like they must be sisters, maybe. It's number 1 in a series. This one has me so intrigued. It says, in the near future, in the United States, there is a one-child policy in place, and it is very severely enforced. No one breaks the rule. And so we have, what are our names here? Ava. She has a secret identical twin, Myra. And for 18 years, these 2 have lived as if they're one person until their secret is out, and now they're running for their safety. What? Like, how do you even do that? It sounds good, and I've heard really good things about it too. Next one I have is Inconceivable by Carolyn and Sean Savage. This is a memoir-ish book, but it's true. It is about the journey that these 2 went on. They were struggling to get pregnant. They had one final try at an IVF procedure, and they found out that they were pregnant. It was a miracle. It was kind of their last chance. And soon after they found out this fantastic news, they found out that the doctor's office messed up and implanted them with someone else's embryo. They had 2 choices. They can terminate the pregnancy or they can go forward with the pregnancy, but they cannot keep the child. So it's the story of what they did. I can't imagine, but I'm interested, very interested in. A friend of mine has read it and said it was really good. The next one I have is Cleo McDougal Regrets Nothing. And this one sounds so fun. So Cleo is a born politician. She's a single mother. She has, I believe, had some Senate seats, but she's been in politics her whole career, and she has her sights set on the White House, and she's going to get there. The problem is she burned some bridges in the past, a lot of bridges in the past. And one of those bridges, an estranged childhood friend, all of a sudden comes out of nowhere and like normal and writes a horrendous opinion piece about Cleo, and just, it's gone viral. Like everyone knows, and now she has to go into survivor mode. Like, how do we fix this? And so her publicist basically says, all right, we're going to turn this around. We're going to go on a media blitz, and you are going to start making amends with people in your past that you have maybe hurt. And it's all her regrets. And so it goes from there. So I'm interested from the political aspect of it. It sounds like a little kind of funny and a little bit of a lesson of stop burning bridges, people. So the next one I have, The Murmur of Bees by Sofia Segovic. Ooh, here. So this one takes place in 1918. We're in the midst of the Spanish flu. We are in the midst of the Mexican Revolution. So not so great things. This is set in Mexico. And amongst all of this stuff, an abandoned baby is found, and he is covered in like a cloak of bees. Not getting stung or anything, just the bees like him. So Francisco and Beatrice adopt him as their own and raise them as his own. And he becomes this like cause of wonder, because when he closes his eyes, he can see the future, both good and bad, and kind of what's going to happen. And they're living in such a turbulent time. Like, what is he seeing? What is he telling them? What are they learning? Sounds very interesting. So I have that one. The next book I have to talk about is Open House by Sise, I think. So 10 years ago in New York, a girl named Emma walked into the woods and never returned. And it's been this mystery. It's been this cold case. There's been no leads. Nobody knows what's happened to her. And so present day, we have a situation where her bracelet is found and old wounds are opened, and there's some significance to this bracelet. And at the same time, another woman is attacked, and there seems to be some connections to potentially what happened to Emma and what happened to this other woman. So give me a good mystery like that and I am on board. And then the next one I have by the same author, Sise, we have We Were Mothers, and it says it's a twisty novel about a missing woman, an unfaithful husband, and the dark secrets that will destroy two perfect families. Okay, sounds good. The next one I have is, I believe it's a fantasy. It's The Vine Witch by Luanne Smith. This is number 1 in a series, and this cover, it's everything. It's so pretty. So we're at the turn of the century in France. We have a young witch who emerges from a curse that she's been under for, I want to say like 7 years or something like that, to find that her world is upended. So she's a vine witch. So she is in charge of helping grapevines produce what they produce in order for, I believe, wineries, for wineries to be successful. And I believe she wakes up and realizes that the winery that she's a part of has a different owner, and he does not believe in the things she does. She kind of has to go undercover and try to take things back. Sounds interesting. The last one is the only book that I've read off of this list, and it is so good. It is Along the Broken Bay by Fiora Solomon. I gave this 5 stars. World War II historical fiction, but it's different because it's set in the Philippines. So we have our main characters. It's December 1941. We have Gina, her husband, and her daughter, and they're stationed there. So her husband's in the army, and that's where their base is. And she's making her life in the Philippines, and she's enjoying it. And until the Japanese invade, not so great. So Gina and her daughter, because they are Americans and will be basically sought after, go up to the mountains to hide while her husband joins the army and fights the Japanese. They have to do what they can to survive, and in the midst of all this, they see some really horrible things, and Gina decides that she needs to do something. So she joins in with the resistance, all the while not knowing what's going on with her husband. It's so good. It's so good. I really liked that book. So that's on my Kindle. I appreciate everyone who stuck around for this entire series. I think I had, I don't even know, 14 videos or something talking about what I have on my Kindle, but it's like, you know, I forget that they're there. And I need to be better about that. So I'm more intentional about that. So anyways, if you've read any of these books, comment below. Let me know what you think. Otherwise, like, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. And I will see you next time. Bye.